Good morning. On behalf of ICICI Securities, I welcome you all to the Q2 CY 2026 Institutional Investor Meet of KSB Limited. Today, we have with us on the dais Mr. Rajiv Jain, Managing Director, Mr. Mahesh Balu, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Nitin Patil, Chief Operating Officer, Nuclear Division, and Shraddha Kautikar, Company Secretary. We will start with a detailed presentation, which will be followed by Q&A. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, all. We start with a cautionary statement regarding forward-looking statement. This presentation may contain certain forward-looking statements relating to company's future business developments and economic performance. Such statements may be subject to a number of risks, uncertainties, and other important factors, such as but not limited to competitive pressure, legislative and regulatory development, global macroeconomic and political trend, fluctuations in currency exchange rates and general financial market conditions, delay or inability in obtaining approval from authorities, technical developments, litigation, adverse publicity and news coverage. These could cause actual developments and results to differ materially from statements made in this presentation. The company assumes no obligations to update or alter forward-looking statements, whether as a result of new information, future events, or otherwise. So, KSB India snapshot, I think most of you know, but just to have a repeat, we started in 1960, our Pimpri plant, which is the flagship plant. 1974, we established foundry in Ahmednagar, Wamburi, ferrous and non-ferrous castings. 1978, we started our PPD, that is Chinswad plant. Initially, it was a power-driven pump plant, and now it is converted into Supreme Sir division, that is after-sales division, where we have our spares, warehouse, and after-sales activities. 1987, we established valves division in Coimbatore. Then we moved 1994, we started our water pumps division, that is in Sinnar, Nasik, which is into standard pump factory. We acquired MIL Controls Limited in 1997, which is in Kochi, Kerala. We started our tech center, KSB Group Tech Center in Pune city in 2005, which is into engineering and IT service providing captively to the group. Shirwal, the new state-of-art plant, which is in the energy pump division, which we started in 2017. As all of you know, we acquired BP&CL technology in 2023, and recently, very recently, maybe a few weeks before, we started our new shed at Shirwal. So, presence of KSB in India, KSB Limited, as I mentioned, we started in 1960, 6 manufacturing plants, 6 service stations, more than 350 service centers across India, 22 warehouses, 4 zonal offices, 14 branches, and more than 800 authorized dealers who dealt into our products. KSB Tech, we discussed, it is in Pune city, it's a tech center. We have a license office in Bangladesh, and MIL we discussed, we acquired in 1997. It's to control valves basically. It's a manufacturing plant. Pictures of our facilities, Pimpri IPD, you can see Wamburi Foundry, Chinswad plant, Coimbatore Valve division, WPD we call Nasik factory, Kochi our MIL factory, Shirwal you can see the helicopter view of the Shirwal plant and also a factory view, and new shed inauguration which we have done recently in Shirwal. The management team from left side, Mr. Nitin Patil, who is with us today, Vice President for IPD, EPD operations and COO for nuclear business. Mr. Mohan Patil, who heads HR, Mr. Rajiv Jain, Managing Director, who is with us today, myself, Mr. Sunil Papat, Vice President, Sinnar and also Foundry Factory, and COO for solar business of pumps, and Mr. Prashant Kumar, who is VP Sales and Marketing. Our board of directors, Mr. Gaurav Swarup, who is a chairman and is an industrialist, we have Dr. Stephen Bros, non-independent and non-executive director, Dr. Matthias Schmitz, who is a non-independent and non-executive director, Mr. Rajiv Jain, managing director. Independent directors, Mr. Ullas Yargub, you can see his experience and is associated from 24. Mr. Mukti Bodh, who is from nuclear background and he associated with us from 2025. Mr. Sharmila Barora Chaudhary, independent director, lawyer and expert in social studies in human behavior. Mr. Vishal Kampani is independent director associated from 2024. Financial performance, in nutshell, you must have already gone through the numbers half yearly. So 12,920 million INR half year ended, which is the revenue from sales. EBITDA 1465 million INR and the profit before tax 1279 million INR for the first half, June 2026. Continue a growth story. You can see revenue from operations 17% CAGR. You can see the PAT, profit after tax, that is also 22% CAGR, continue to grow, and EBITDA 17% CAGR. Value creation for investors, net worth, you can see continuous growth up to June 26. EPS, ROCE, which is 22.8, but if I take out the one-time labor code impact, it is actually 24%. And dividend, what we declared last year is again 220. Update on SAP HANA. You are all aware that SAP HANA is a new platform which is kind of a mandatory from SAP, and a lot of benefits what it gives to us: real-time insights, faster and data-driven decisions, process automation, higher efficiency, lower manual efforts, integrated operations, one platform across companies' functions, scalable and future-ready, supports growth and digital transformation, enhanced control, better transparency and governance. So KSB worldwide as a global company is implementing HANA somewhere in H1 of next year. And we, of course, the model is a revenue model and we expect cost allocation in the next year. Business highlights, as you are aware, we are into 6 major market segments: energy, building services, general industry, petrochemical and chemical, mining and water. So these are 6 market areas and 21 sub-markets. Order intake, generally we have this order intake per month which gives us a clear picture. You can see again 14% CAGR and we continue to grow in order intake. H1 first half 2026 without nuclear we are 15,307 million INR OI. Very strong orders on hand. I think this shows the very robust orders on hand, and you can see it is continuously growing. June 26 we have 27,445 million INR orders on hand. Just an overview how we distribute the order intake. You can see standard is 51%, engineered 14%, Supreme Source 16%, and walls is around 19%. Export business continue to grow despite of geopolitical kind of a pause or hassles what we faced in H1 2026. However, we hope to come back in H2 as the situation becoming more normal. Key growth drivers. First is energy conventional. There are 4 important key growth drivers. We are saying boiler feed pump package for thermal power projects, condensate transfer, that is CTP pumps package, which is for power generation application, refinery and hydrocarbon processing pump packages, and first localized LUV boiler circulation pump order. So this is the localization what we did recently. So, and you can see the product profile into energy conventional market. Water and wastewater, this is again a very upcoming market. Municipal water supply distribution project, desalination applications, rural water supply and infrastructure projects, strengthen presence in sustainable water management and infrastructure investments. You can see range of products which are already available with us. Commercial building services, another very important segment where we see a lot of opportunities. Metro rail, urban infrastructure projects, commercial real estate development, residential township, and large institutional and building service application, where we have a good product range. You can see the firefighting range which we have been discussing, like Gamma. Petrochemical, gas separation and processing application, we see a lot of opportunity into these areas also with the recent changes of government policies. Petrochemical capacity expansion project, refinery process pump applications, and strengthen presence in the large scale domestic and international petrochemical investments. And you can see the product range which is already available. Some of the emerging segments, marine business, which we discussed, commercial shipbuilding applications, battery, electric and green marine propulsion projects, Coast Guard vessel applications, growing presence in India's marine and shipbuilding sector. So this is an emerging sector. We have product already developed and ready, and I think we have also approved in some of the areas by Naval. New technologies, one is green hydrogen, railways, renewable energy, and strategic participation in the renewable energy ecosystem. So product portfolio, Magnochem is for green hydrogen, for railways we have Itesico, and renewable energy we have Movitech. So these products are available. Data center, the buzzword. Our pumps goes into a cooling infrastructure in data center, precision thermal management application, and also commercial building services, mission critical water circulation system, strengthen participation in hyperscale and enterprise data center developments. And the product portfolio like HVAC and firefighting, plumbing and liquid cooling, these are the applications. I think I would request Mr. Patil to talk about the nuclear business.
Yeah, good morning to all of you again, once again. I'll take you through the updates from our energy division. See, we have I think it could be repetitive kind of nature, but I'll just go through. It is, we have a dedicated state-of-the-art facility for the energy business in our Shirwal plant, where we have a dedicated organization for nuclear. We are, I think, one of the leaders in having the complete infrastructure for nuclear business, including the required manpower in engineering and quality as per the required code. We were the first company to get, first pump company to get ISO 19443 certification, which was again renewed some time back. This plant is 115,000 square meter area. It is 100,000 it's written, but I think we have added 15,000 square meters, which was also recently announced. It is best in class and state-of-the-art facility. I also say that it is one of the best pump facility worldwide, within KSB group for sure, and also worldwide in any pump industry. I would say it is one of the best pump plant. This plant is also certified as platinum rated for as per IGBC green factory building. We have very dust-free environment which is required for such kind of critical pumps. We have our own rooftop solar in this plant of 1 megawatt. And we have dedicated base for critical testing of large pumps. These are some photographs of the shop. So we cater to mainly three segments from this plant. One is nuclear power plants, thermal power plants, and oil and gas petrochemical industry. I think we recently also announced we expanded this facility by building one more shed, approximately 7,000 square meters on this recently bought out land of 15,000 square meters. This will approximately add to capacity of 20% in this plant. As you are already probably knowing, KSB is a leader in providing pumps for nuclear power plants worldwide, as well as in India, especially for the PHWR plants. If you see this figure, KSB worldwide is present in all kinds of reactors, though in India it is mainly pressurized heavy water reactor and pressurized water reactor, which is Kudankulam. But the KSB is present in all required nuclear application. So these are some of the products which go into critical application of primary and secondary. Primary being the main coolant pump, which I think we have been discussing for past few years. Then emergency core cooling system, residual heat removal, safety injection, reactor cleanup, volumetric control, and in secondary side, which is similar to a thermal plant, that is feed water and condensate pumps. So similarly, our product basket is covering the complete energy sector. Say the first two one are the CSTD and YNK, which are mainly for thermal power plant, which is boiler feed pump and the booster pump. Then the condensate pump. Then in FGD, as you are aware, we were the leaders in FGD pumps, though that opportunity is currently not much. And then the pumps are for oil and gas API pumps, that is CSTR, CSTRA, and the last three are for the nuclear pumps. So if you see, this is our nuclear journey in India. KSB started with nuclear pumps in 1977 with a tripartite agreement between KSB Germany, KSB India, and the Department of Atomic Energy, where this agreement envisaged localization of these pumps for 220 megawatt as well as 500 megawatt at that time. 500 megawatt was later on upgraded to 700 megawatt. So we have done progressively. So all pressurized heavy water reactors after Narora, that is 1978, are equipped with KSB's main coolant pump or primary coolant pump. This was done progressively. First few pumps came from Germany, and then progressively we localized completely. Another milestone is 2017, looking at the India growth story and the growth which was foreseen in energy. We we commissioned our plant in Shirvat 2017, and then after that the nuclear orders also started coming in 2018. 2021 we also were the first local company to completely localize the boiler feed pump for 700 megawatt. The earlier plants, the pumps were imported from KSB Germany. And then we also acquired, as Mr. Bhave also said, BPNCL technology. During this acquisition, I think we also had the nuclear aftermarket or nuclear installed base in our mind, because BPNCL also had a strong presence in nuclear segment. And also, it also gave us exposure to the reciprocating pumps, which is basically not in KSB's kitty, but now in KSB India, we also can make reciprocating pumps. As already said, 2024 we got this ISO 19443, which is again recertified recently. 2025 our first indigenous pump was made, and 2026 the testing is happening in NPCIL test bed. So this mainly journey shows KSB is at the forefront of localizing any technology required in pump, especially this slide covers the nuclear pumps. These are our main, our installed base, especially for primary coolant pumps, 220 megawatt as well as 540 and 700 megawatt PHWRs. Our first pump started with Narora and up to Rawatbata 7-8, and then the last two projects are the completely indigenized pumps for Haryana Gorakhpur as well as Kaiga 5 and 6, which are under manufacturing currently. So this is our order on hand. If you see, the current order on hand is 1235 crores, which mainly includes pumps for GHAP 1 and 2, Kaiga 5, 6, and the safety package which we got for Kudankulam project. So yes, I think nuclear is a buzzword nowadays. Every day you see some or the other news coming up in newspapers. So we also see a great times going ahead, I would say. Though we have currently around 8.8 gigawatt with 24 operational reactors. The plan is by 2031 it will be 23 gigawatt, and then 2047 it will be 100 gigawatt. So what we see, how this is developing is this will always be mainly, as I think you are all aware, that the mainstay of the nuclear program is PHWRs, which will be the mainstay where KSB is strong. And the 8 reactors are under construction, 10 reactors are under pre-project stage. This as per available data. So long-term goal is 100 gigawatt. And also government has announced 5 indigenous SMRs to be built. That is Bharat Small Reactors also, that is 220 megawatt, which are originally already built and operating for more than I think 40 years now. So that also is being planned. And recent policy initiatives, if you see, Shanti Act was passed, and then recently the rules have been published for comments from the public and the stakeholders. And then we also have, I think NTPC also is with joint venture with NPCIL, as well as they're independently looking to add around 30 gigawatt, which is part of the total 100 gigawatt targets. So how we are prepared for this opportunity is we have invested in capacity to meet the expectation. As recently announced, this additional shed will give us a comfort that we are already at 80 to 90% capacity utilization. So whenever the next orders come, we will be prepared for that. We have access to all the latest nuclear designs whenever it comes. Currently it is mainly based on PHWRs as well as the pumps which are already delivering for Kudankulam. But any new technology which comes up, KSB will have an access to that from our principals. We have more than 47 years of experience of making pumps in India for nuclear power plants and having the stable supply chain for that. With the acquisition of VP and CL, we also have the reciprocating pump in our kitty, and we can offer that for the upcoming plants. And Kudankulam safety package pumps, which was I think some time back announced, are under manufacturing. Some pumps have already been dispatched from that order. So I want to conclude by saying that we are fully prepared and committed for this vision of 100 gigawatt by 2047. So that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the great presentation. We will now begin the Q&A session. Please request to raise your hand to ask questions, and please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi sir. This is Saurabh from East Lane Capital. I have a sort of a slightly macro question. Just want to understand the pump industry. The size would be say about $2.5–3 billion, and growth is probably GDP or in the long run less than 1x GDP. So just want your outlook for next 2–3 years, 4 years. Which sectors do you think could break this 1x GDP kind of growth? Thermal, nuclear, or any other areas which we think which will? And like slightly macro picture, but we've not seen pumps sector seeing the growth we are seeing with the other cap goods. So just some overall macro picture, and then I have one question on nuclear.
On the macro level, I think if you see the different segments, energy is of course leading that growth level. Energy means both nuclear, conventional, as well as renewable. If you see the conventional energy, those orders or those businesses started since last year, and in the coming 2–3 years you will see more visibility of those orders. nuclear is separate, and renewable also. Solar, you must have seen good growth due to this Kusum Yojana, and which is a bit paused and should come in the last quarter again. So I see energy leading the pack of on a macro level, and apart from that, the infrastructure. The infrastructure, which I mean, is the water, wastewater sector, where a lot of projects are being announced and being executed. This is another segment in infrastructure which will pave the way for growth. Then in infrastructure, it's also about airports, metros, railways. All these sectors are also giving those or opening those opportunities for growth. And of course, it's apart from these, you always also see other areas related to the geopolitical situations which spur that growth on localization and being self-sufficient, whether it is fertilizer policy, whether it is biofuel. So all these aspects will continue to have a big role, and increasing capacity for storage. So these are things which are continuously happening, and I think in the last previous years you have seen pump companies which were very small, example, grow into big companies also in solar, for example, and also other companies also showing a very healthy growth. So I see that on a macro level, a good opportunities all around in all segments, and this will also continue, I think, in the next coming years as well.
So any breakthrough sector? So we understand energy is an important sector, but can thermal, say 50 gigawatt under construction, can it like really lead to, in terms of the total value of the power in pumps, can it lead to a higher growth, say versus a 8%, it can lead to a 10, 12% kind of growth for the sector?
Yes, yes, definitely. We are looking forward for that. Thermal will play a very important role because KSB is a very leading player in this energy segment, and also with our recent success in also getting the first order for the boiler circulation pump, which was so far imported. So what this thing means is it is a process where you need to establish yourself and make that prototype and do that first step. And once you do that, then the momentum picks up. In the boiler feed pumps, we are already there. We've got now Nabinagar and Gardarwara. And so there are many other projects under discussion. So this will definitely spur that extra over our normal growth to show quite a good visibility of growth in the thermal power sector.
Sure. My last question is on nuclear. So just want to get an update in terms of the execution of the existing orders which we have. These projects have seen a big delay already. So what do we think now? And also for the future ordering, next 12 months, which is the project we think which can get ordered out, and are we going to face three people, like two more additional players like Kirloskar brother and Flowserve as a competition now this time around for the primary coolant pump? That's it.
Yeah, to update you on the execution of the nuclear projects, the Kudankulam safety package progress is good. We have started deliveries last year. This year also deliveries are continuing. As far as GHAP is concerned, the pumps were tested somewhere in April, and the testing had started in April and May, but some issues were encountered in some other equipment in the testbed which was built by NPCIL. Somehow that has not yet been solved. What we are given to understand that by end of August that should be solved. and the testing should start in September. But the comfort which we have is during the limited testing which was carried out in April and May, we see the pump performing as per the expectations which we had and what were the requirements of the contract. So from that perspective, I think we are very comfortable. I also want to update you that based on our discussion, we have also started some deliveries of equipment which is not required for testing. So that has also started. So I see that this momentum gaining now going forward. As far as new tender is concerned, I think I don't know when it will come, but what we are given to understand that it should come in next few months. What we understand is this will be for the projects in Mahi Banswara, which is under Ashwini, that is NTPC, NPCIL JV, as well as some other projects. So it will be probably for 8 reactors. As far as competition is concerned, as of today, I think we are the approved supplier. What NPCIL will do, I think we can't say. It is finally left to them. But one thing is that we are at, I would say, leaders in this because we have already gone through the learning curve of the localization, what it means. We have been doing these pumps for past several years now. But the completely localized pump also we have done, and we are quite satisfied with that. With that, I think we are comfortable on that front, I would say. Yes.
Good morning. Shubham Borade from ICICI Securities. So I have a couple of questions. First being, can you please help us with the subdued performance during the quarter and how much of the exports were for the Middle East during the quarter?
Yes, the first half has been affected by the geopolitical situation, the war, and and especially on the exports. So there were exports pumps ready which we could not deliver, and step by step we are trying to solve that. We have made some progress. So that would be the answer to the subdued performance of the first half. But we expect a much better half in the second half because as of today we see that the issues related to supply chain, of course, have not been fully solved, but it is much better that we have now a bit of consistency in the supply chain after having agreed with them on the revised prices. So we have a reliability of the supply chain. We have looking up in the export inquiries also. There is a good bit of momentum there. So I would summarize that yeah, we are looking forward for the second half to cover up what we lost in the first half.
And the second question would be, can you please help us with the global presence in data center and what is the competitive intensity in that segment?
Yes, today's discussion centers a lot on this data center, and KSB is making good strides in this business globally. There are orders which are coming to KSB Germany, which is in Europe. From major OEMs also, and I think the order book situation of KSB is quite satisfactory in Europe from these major OEMs. In India also, we have started focusing on this business and especially on the application of cooling liquid cooling application. We have got orders from international OEM based in India. We are also discussing many projects with other OEMs, and so we see that business growing for us also here in India, specifically for that cooling liquid application. And apart from that, I think similar to other building service projects, we are also making our presence in applications like HVAC, firefighting. So we would see a good share of business in the coming months, and we have geared ourselves up with dedicated teams to handle such OEMs, as well as product upgradation or product adaptation to these applications.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Nitya Surya from SBI Mutual Fund. I have some queries on the nuclear. So, since you said that the testing has already begun at the NPCIL side, but there have been few issues at the testing bed, and it will resume in September. Just want to know that when will the testing be completed, and also post that, when will the testing start for the Kaiga unit, and when will the revenue recognition happen for KSB?
So testing, the first pump is to be tested for 500 hours, which typically will take around 2 to 3 months because it's not continuous testing. And after that, the dispatches will happen. We see 1 pump every quarter, but we can maximize this to up to 6 pumps per year. And after the GHOP test is happened, the Kaiga testing will happen.
Okay. And also in the current capacity addition on the Shirwal plant, how many pumps you are able to do currently in post capacity expansion? I mean, how many pumps is able to do?
Separately nuclear we don't have, but overall our capacity I think is approximately 1200 to 1300 pumps in Shirwal. Now we can, that we see an approximate increase by 20%.
Okay. And anything on
But this
the,
is all pumps put together for energy, oil and gas, and nuclear.
Sure, okay. And so anything on the refurbishment orders? I think we have heard one of the, I mean, there have been major tenders floating for the refurbishment. Tarapur was one, and I think other old plants have been sort of tendering for refurbishment. This is just in the news, so just want to take your view on that.
I think we have delivered some orders for Rajasthan 1 and 2. Tarapur, I don't remember as well, but I think the main refurbishment happened in the primary piping thing. Pumps, I don't remember if any, but in Rajasthan 1 and 2, we have replaced some older pumps.
Okay, thank you.
So my question, first question is regarding the valves margin. We have been consistently beyond around mid-teens kind of level, but in the H1 at least, it has dropped to single digit. So what specifically is the reason for this? I mean, historically, 10 years before we had seen similar margins in valves. Since then, it has been double digit. So any specific reason for that?
No specific reason. I think partly due to the commodity prices, partly due to the product mix, our exports have been down, partly due to the sales being down. So it's a combination of all these factors. And once we have out of these situation, which we are already coming out, I think we should have a good double-digit margin. That is what we are. So I see these as temporary variations.
And any outlook on solar? I mean, what was the solar revenue in say H1, and what was the growth say YOY? And I mean, any guidance on Kusum 2.0 or something?
The first half solar revenue was 50 to 60 crores, I would say. Okay. Much below than our expectations or planning, specifically due to the Kusum scheme, which is 2.0, which is delayed to the last quarter or second half. So let's see how we are waiting for this scheme to come up. So we have got some orders in the recent tenders of Maharashtra, so that should help us in the third quarter. And hopefully when the Kusum 2.0 launches in a big way, then we can get also a share out of it. What was your second question?
I mean, you have covered everything mostly. Okay. Just a final one. What would be the share of solar pumps in our current order book?
It would be presently less than 10%. Maybe we have targeted more than 10%, between 10 to 12%. Right now, I would say it's 5 to 7%, specifically because of the delay in the Kusum 2.0. Sure. Thank you.
So Mohit Surana, this side from Monarch Network Capital. So just one question with respect to the order intakes. So order intakes, I mean, this time you have highlighted many new emerging sector orders that you have got, including data centers, and also thermal is coming up big way. But still, our order intakes have not improved materially compared to what we reported last quarter. So just wanted to understand what are the other sectors which may be pulling down the growth in the order intakes that we are expecting?
Yes, our order intake is dependent on both standard business and project business. So standard business is, I would say, growing consistently. It takes time because we are somewhere new entrants in some markets. For example, firefighting. It takes time to build up that reach to the customers based on your references. That is one market. I would say marine, navy, these are another market. Mining is something which we are also targeting. Then apart from that, these new technologies we spoke about, it's also data centers, building services. But having said that about the standard business, the project market specifically, like the oil and gas, the petrochemical market slowed down, and that order intake should happen because now some projects like Dangote refineries is materializing. They are taking a bit of time, but we expect a share out of that business also. So those are projects which have hope also. And supercritical conventional thermal is, we got something in the last year, and those we can't target every project. It is something which we'll have to be selective on. And in the first half, we were successful in breaking the jinx of the boiler circulating pumps. This was a big achievement for us, and these were pumps imported from overseas, and now our share will increase considerably for all supercritical, because again, as usual, KSB is the only localized supplier of this product. So it will happen step by step, and we will grow in this project business also. The third is, of course, water wastewater market, which is also have a standard business and a project business. We have been out of this project business market for many years, decades, I would say. But now the products are being developed: vertical turbine pumps, big size split case pump, big size submersible pumps. All this product development is going on, and it takes time for us to develop, put the products in the market, get customer acceptance. So I think these are seeds which we are sowing for the future years, and it will happen gradually because our accessible market will increase much higher in the years to come where we were playing. Same is for mining example. We today are develop products for the KSB global organization. So all these things will happen.
Understood, sir. Sir, the first half has been subdued, but you expect second half to be much better. So for the full year, can we expect the growth to be high single digits or low double digits kind of growth on the top line and bottom line? If you can give some indication on that, that will be helpful.
Our goal is to have a double-digit growth. This is what we are aiming for. Of course, there are challenges on the way, and nuclear is one. We are hoping that NPCIL can fix that issue related to the test bed fast, so that we can achieve what we have planned. We see a low risk there, but but otherwise, we are aiming for a double-digit growth. Excuse me.
Sir, if you may allow one more question on the gas availability part. So our products are more fabrication heavy, and I think that's one of the reasons why the EBIT margins in valve segment got impacted significantly. So is the gas situation availability has improved? Have we been able to pass on most of the cost rise in our products to the customer? If you can give us some update on that.
Yeah, I think when you say fabricated means castings, foundry.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Yes, you're right. Our products, whether it is pump or valves, it's all about castings, and foundries were the main impacted by this gas thing. It took a while. It took a while to stabilize this because foundries don't have the capacity to accept this impact for a long time, and our customers don't agree for those price increase what our foundries ask. So we took a while to kind of come to some agreement with them. We had to pass on price increases to them as well. So from the supply side, now we see almost 85 to 90% stability on this front. So we don't see an issue because we have settled the price agreements and we have started coming back to their normal supplies. The issue still remains on the margins due to this, which takes time, because even if we pass on to the customer, and we can do that only for our day-to-day standard business, it takes a while before these really reflect in our books till we make sales. And so the time period could be from 3 months to 6 months. So that will take a time to settle down. But the good part is that if we can achieve our top line, that should help to mitigate quite a bit of that risk.
Understood, sir. So the EBIT margin which declined this quarter, is it fair to say that a lot of that was the projects business, because of which we were not able to increase the margins that side?
Yeah, you can, basically we did not achieve our planned sales, I would say. A major thing, if you saw overall sales, we hardly grew 2 to 3% over the last. So I would attribute that as one of the things, and the growth which we wanted did not happen. So that was the major reason of having an impact on the EBIT. Of course, your gross margin got affected. Your OPEX also got affected. So all those things are there. But if we had achieved the sales as we had planned, maybe the impact would have not been there as it is there.
Understood, sir. Thank you so much.
So, two questions. One with respect to the nuclear business. So, one, when you say that you have to localize the product for Indian conditions, so could you just elaborate what are the localization efforts that need to be put in? Has it got something to do with the design, or is it the metallurgy, what you have to work on? And how's the ecosystem that has got created around you in terms of your suppliers to align with that?
Localization, I didn't mean design experts, because that technology is already available with us for, especially for the PHWRs. That is already available, but localization meant in the earlier projects some of the parts were imported that have been completely produced in India. It includes raw material as well as some of the critical machine, like we say hearth, gear machine, and mechanical seals. These were historically imported, but that now is being completely made in India.
So the mechanical seals essentially...
mechanical seals, rotor parts, and some castings, I would say.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Also, just to add to what Nitin has said, the design part or the engineering part comes in, for example, the Kudankulam project, where the team, maybe you can share the teams, it was totally done by KSB India. The pumps were adapted to the requirements of, because these pumps were earlier to be planned from coming from Ukraine and other countries. Okay. So due to the war, then it was designed in India.
I really appreciate that. So these pumps which go into the nuclear plants, they would sit in your standard pumps or engineered pumps? And therefore we can get some sense of the margin profile. change?
More or less, the critical pumps are all project pumps.
Okay.
Standard pumps are very few in the utilities like firefighting, etc., in the nuclear plant. But they also will be needed to be adapted to some nuclear standards of seismic, etc., etc. So, more or less, I would say most of the pumps are tailor-made or make to order, I would say.
Understood. And last bit on the nuclear pumps, what is the execution cycle like? So let's say a nuclear power plant typically takes anywhere from 6 to 7 years. So once you get an order, or let's say once the project gets approved and starts on ground zero, then what part of the life cycle do we get the order, and how much time does it take for KSB to execute that order?
So this execution actually is not say straightforward. It involves a lot of document approvals in middle stages.
Correct.
So first the first documents are submitted, the customer approves, then we place the orders on our vendors, and then during the approval also there are a lot of inspection this thing. So our standard cycle is 24 to 36 months, but typically our deliveries to NPCIL is around 48 months from the date of order. And normally the primary coolant pump is one of the first equipment to be ordered along with the steam generator.
Okay. So once the project hits the ground or the groundbreaking happens,
Correct.
so let's say 3 years after that is when your first supplies would happen. Is that fair?
4 years.
After 4 years.
Yes.
Understood. Now the second bit of question was on the export part.
Yeah, a small correction here. Our deliveries are dependent, especially in the main coolant pump, on the test bed, which is at NPCI, which is not in our hand.
No, of course, of course. And so on the export bit, how much of it is driven by your parents, the exports, and how much is it your own efforts that you have to put in to execute or get those export orders?
It's our efforts, 100%.
So the
parents only makes a guideline that which territories and which products you're allowed to export.
Okay.
So this is a general guideline so that they balance the loading of all factories globally. And so you know your target markets.
Okay.
And then you work with those regions, with those countries, and then build up that export.
Okay. So the ground sales team would be of the parent?
The ground sales team would be of that location.
Understood.
The parent doesn't participate in an operative way. They make the general guidelines.
Okay.
Which product can be sourced from which manufacturing location. There is a general guideline.
Okay.
And so,
for example, if there is a project happening in Africa, let's say in Nigeria, they would say that KSB India would supply, is what would be the guideline, and then you would respond to that order.
Correct.
And how's the transfer pricing then decided?
The transfer pricing.
So you would bill it to the parent entity sitting there, or is it billed by you?
It depends on the situation. Sometimes we invoice it directly to the customer there also.
Achha.
Depending on the size of the product, depending on the engineering involved, depending on the type of business we do. If it's a standard business, they would buy the bare shaft pumps and do the unitization, value addition, and completing the pump set and supplying. But if it's a project like Dangote refinery, then we would supply everything from here in India. We would invoice, and their involvement would be from the sales angle. That they would be fronting and having customer contact, and they would support us from there.
And lastly, so this export business should be better on margins than what we do in India. Is that a good assumption?
Yeah, in general, that would be a reasonable assumption. The market price levels in export markets are much better than Indian market.
But it would come with a higher working capital cycle. Is that also correct?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because that working capital cycle is typical, similar as India.
Yeah.
And in fact, export deliveries are much less.
Yeah.
They are they don't offer that luxury. Yeah. So we have to be much more agile and efficient in export deliveries. So sometimes the working capital is much lesser, or the cycle is lesser than the domestic market.
And finally, if I it's a more general top-down question. In the last 6 to 12 months, forget the war and the uncertainty that has come out of it, domestic investment cycle, what are the changes that you are seeing on the ground? Do you see more inquiries, more activity? How are you seeing that investment environment on the ground from industrial pumps requirement, etc.?
I think we are seeing a quite good outlook and a good momentum of inquiries. I said about infrastructure.
Yeah.
So infrastructure development, there is, whether you talk of railways, whether you talk of airports, whether you talk of metros, those continuous activities continuously happening. Water, wastewater, energy. So the last 6 to 12 months, we have been busy. We have been busy in these kind of things. You may say, yeah, slightly a point here or there, a little bit of a drop compared to what was forecasted earlier. But we don't see as an impact due to all the other things. We see a good momentum. And with KSB's participation in all market segments, what is KSB's differentiation factor? KSB is a company which participates in all market segments. Petrochemical, oil and gas, energy, and in energy, thermal, nuclear, solar, water, wastewater, standard projects, building services, domestic, residential, commercial, mining, then Supreme Serve, walls. So you name any segment, chemical, new technologies, you name any segment, we are there.
So the next 18 months, we should be confident of being able to push a 20% kind of a top line growth. Is that something which will be
it's not
very
impossible.
tall?
It's not impossible.
Yeah.
And
given the inflation in the underlying metal prices, where you get a benefit of realization increase, which you just alluded to, a 20% top line growth is something which we should be gunning for at least.
Yeah, in terms of value maybe, but in terms of volume, I would still put it between 10 to 15%.
Okay.
And in terms of value, maybe 15 would be a reasonably good figure.
Okay.
20% is also possible.
Sure.
But that would come with peaks.
Correct.
That would come with peaks. It would not be consistent,
Sustainable.
reliable.
Understood.
So that's how I would put it. And on an average, if you say 15 to 17 is a good.
Thank you. All the best.
So just one question.
Yes.
Hi. So have you started to see any traction on the JJM side? The 2.0 version was announced.
Not so much. When I talk to my team, yeah, we are there. We are getting into there because of our product range. There is a bit of positivity, but there are still projects where we are still struggling from the past. So if you ask me a very holistic question, I would say we are positive or we are expecting, but on the ground level, we should see the same thing, I would say.
Okay. And the other question is on BPNCL. So we had expected that we were at the 15-20 crore run rate and we were targeting a much higher number, more than doubling of that. So are we on track for achieving?
Yeah, we are on track. It takes time because this business is very much PSU based business, public sectors. And when we say of public sector, they have their guidelines. Their guideline says you should have a PTR, proven track record, a reference. So that takes time, and that takes time. We are building that up step by step. The second thing is being public sectors, they have to go for public tendering and GEM portal where anybody can participate. So we are building on that. We are building on that, but the business is growing and we are breaking some and getting some milestones. And we have a good product range from BPNCL. For example, I mentioned about fertilizer sector. There is a good product range from overseas company licenses, which we hope to do that. But yes, we are making inroads into customers where we were not there. ONGC, for example, Oil India, all these customers, and step by step, it will grow. It will grow.
So if you take a medium-term view, say 3 to 5 years or 5 years plus, so what could be the scale of this business? I mean, once it flourishes as per your expectations.
Yeah, it would be constantly, at least we expect annual, once we have stabilized, once we are able to participate in all tenders business, when I say reciprocating pumps, for example, and all those things. Yeah, a business of 40 to 50 crores annually is a figure which we could do. More maybe, depending on the gradual. See, what happened was BPNCL, they slowed down in the last couple of years, and that also meant that there were other external suppliers who developed as suppliers to these PSUs. But they did not have the original drawings. They made it based on whatever they could do out of copying the parts and doing those things. So step by step, we now get into those issues or solving those issues of reliability, correctness, authentic parts. So it will take time till that differentiation of a KSB supplied product and a external supply that makes that impact. So I would say yes, and the new product which we are very proud of is the reciprocating pumps. So now we are working on getting an EIL approval. EIL approval says you should have the pump running supplied first and 12 months. So once you qualify there, then the door opens for participating in all those tenders.
Okay.
So that's why the reason I say it's a bit takes time in this Indian context.
And last one is on the Ken and Betwa river linking project. Is the pump supply going to be a big component? Any idea on?
Right now I can't answer that question. But river linking projects, we are looking into it. Typically they would want a high capacity flow pump, which is what we are now developing. Okay. So this we are building the reference. We are doing an export job where we are making a split case pump with 10,000 meter cube per hour. So once we establish there, I'm sure when these projects materialize, we will have the product range to participate.
Thank you very much.
Hello. Yes, sir. Hello. Sir, if you can give us a perspective how Supreme Serve aftermarket has grown and how should we see it over the next couple of years, and how is the revenue contribution from that?
Yeah, Supreme Serve business is a very, let's say, talked about, preferred and focused business internally. You know that we have dedicated one location, our Chinchwad unit for that. So what are the developments on those side? You see the warehouse for standard products which we have created, that it's been giving a regular monthly revenue and income, where we have now got a good inroads into supply of spares for the standard pumps. We developed capabilities there with we call it value engineering, reverse engineering, where we do those things, and we are building parts for not only KSB pump but non-KSB pumps. Another aspect, recently we have got orders for the boiler circulation pumps from customers to build the complete pump also. So this is a new segment of boiler. Having got the technology for localization, building the first localized pump in our Shirwal plant gives customer confidence to also give the repair and refurbishment of that pump to us. So those orders have started. Another import substitution, there are a lot of descaling pumps from Japanese pump suppliers, and we have got orders now to build those complete pumps in India, descaling pumps, because as you see there is a lot of investment in steel industry, a lot of localization push. So international contractors, whether it is Danieli or whether it is SMA, all them are, and also the steel plants are pushing for localized equipment, and it comes from new business as well as aftermarket, where they are preferring us. So we are getting orders to localize, and as you know, KSB has a very strong presence in multi-stage pumps. And these descaling pumps, if they are centrifugal, these are multi-stage pumps where we are the only supplier. And again, those it's a proud thing that we replace international pumps in this segment. So I'm just giving some examples of how we are making the progress. Our goal there is to grow that business to 25 to 30%. But since KSB India's portfolio has a big agri market, domestic market, where there is no aftermarket business per se, so the percentage may be still on the lower side compared to the group, which is aiming for 35%. But I can say that steadily this business is growing 15% per annum. We want to continue to grow in that segment because it's a profitable segment. And it gives solution and value to the customers where there where their issues of getting spare parts or replacing parts become much easier when they change over to local KSB supplier.
Thank you, sir. And
Sir,
on the
Sorry, and one more thing which I can add in Supreme, sir, is the mechanical seal business, which is also steadily growing. Mechanical seal, we have localized quite a bit of our product range. So in the years to come, now is the stage of building up the install base, but that segment will also grow in the next 3 to 5 years once we have got a good install base on that.
So just one clarification, you mentioned 25 to 30% revenue share what you target, but because of standard agriculture pumps, that may not reflect.
That may not be as high as that. It may still be between 15
but
to
if
20.
we exclude that, then probably
Yeah,
that is
if
how
we
we
exclude that, then we should be able to reach that figure.
Sure, sir. And sir, last year exports grew very well, 33%, and revenue was 467 crores. Who should we look at it, and what is the order book in exports, and what is the potential we see?
Potential, I think, as KSB is one of the main global manufacturing hub, the potential is high. But as these external situations become more and more, I think, disturbing factors to disturb that export growth. So, but let's talk of US market. We went there, then the tariffs came, and then some orders got cancelled. Then we are still strong in Middle East, and then the war came. So I cannot predict what external factors would come because these dynamics change very fast in the external. But if you ask, our readiness and our acceptance is there. US market, we are supplying boiler feed pumps for their gas based power plants now booming there. Middle East API pumps, we are the leaders in the group for our product range. Now another market which is potential is desalination market, where we can also participate. So the potential is huge. It a lot depends on the external situation, how it grows. But if everything is good, ideal, we should grow this thing very considerably.
What would be the current order book, sir, in exports?
Current order book is behind, I would say today it is, if I remember, it is 15% of the orders, 15% of the sales, whatever it is. And we want to kind of target 20%.
And sir, what kind of price hike we would have taken in last 6 months or maybe last 3 months after the commodity prices increase, supply chain issues? Have we been able to pass it on?
We have not been able to pass on the 100%. Let's say we have been given foundries maybe in the range also of 12 to 15%. Our price hike to our standard markets would be still single digit so far. So at one go we cannot do that. So we have to do in a phased way so that we support our customer, that we also do improvements inside, efficiency improvements, and then step by step normalize by doing it in a phased way so that our customers don't get affected in that way.
And last question, sir, on engineered pumps, probably has the order intake declined? I missed the slide, but have we seen decline in order inflow on engineered pumps, sir?
Yeah, first half has been slow on the project pumps, I would say. But as I said, there are a lot of projects waiting to get finalized. So I just see that as a temporary thing. And the second half should be much better.
And the inventory build-up, we see a lot of finished good, like work in progress, which has been. So, what is it related? Is it to export, or that is a nuclear pump, which is?
And it is mainly due to the export orders, which is still waiting for clearances. There are some inventory due to the FGD business, which suddenly closed down. So these have been, some has been due to solar, which again slowed down. So these are part and parcel of business, and should not worry. This will all get solved. It's a matter of time.
Thank you so much.
Sir, just wanted your thoughts on this FTA with EU, which will, if it gets signed this year and gets implemented by next year. What are your thoughts on our export competitiveness? Our maybe, can it reduce our input cost of some critical components, or also can it be a competition which can come into some segments like nuclear or high energy segments? I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, talking of exports, I think it would not make much difference to us, because today we export to majority of the countries. There the import duties are hardly there. In Europe it is not there at all. So exports, the situation would not, in my opinion, not change or make a difference on their import barriers. However, for import for us, the products which we today are not manufacturing, it would give us an opportunity to push those products in the local market. Products which may be automation, a lot of automation which KSB Germany does for European market, and which we have not yet, let's say, started manufacturing in India. Those kind of products, whether those are circulator pumps, high efficiency motors, IE5. So all those kind.
So import duty right now on that?
Import duty could be, it's not about import duty alone. There are so many surcharges, so many costs. So the normal cost, it comes to 15 to 20%. This is something apart from the logistic cost and things like that. So, so there I think we have an opportunity to push some products from our parent company in the Indian market. This would help us to do that. For you talked about nuclear. I don't think nuclear would be more made in India, make in India.
Competition which can come into the country because of that.
Yeah, but they will have to manufacture in India.
Oh, okay.
Because nuclear is some very, having learned from of the past, I don't think they encourage more and more localization so that the dependence is not there, because nuclear is something which is a very government related policies and things like that.
Just pardon me for my knowledge. Actually, in this marine, which government is talking of huge on the shipbuilding part, like what is the size of the opportunity maybe in, just can you give also in other segments like data center? We don't know how much of value of a pump is required maybe in just some ballpark numbers for a data center or a marine or these emerging segments.
And I say it always in anything that the pump portion in all these, whatever you call it, projects is 3 to 5% is something of the total value of those of the project value. This is the normal ballpark, a rough figure. But giving exact statistics is very difficult, because sometimes there are many projects announced, but what are being executed are sometimes less. But the potential is huge. Means
marine, they seem to be talking a lot, and a lot of this.
Yes,
I think most of the order book of all the ship companies are shipbuilding are almost running.
Very true.
5-7 years of order book. So
very true.
What is our opportunity size? I don't know whether you're getting orders from them or not.
It's very difficult to sometimes forecast or predict these kind of. Why? Because it's not a range that we have ready and we start selling it from tomorrow. It's a range which gets developed. You have to get it approved from those naval bodies. You get selected. You have to make your supply chain, and things gradually it will increase.
They want it for the commercial shipbuilding also. They're talking of India reaching 10% of the entire shipbuilding by 2047 and all that. It's a very aspirational numbers, but even if we achieve some part, we are not even 1% right now. So
Absolutely, absolutely. If you ask me in our company, if we would reach a figure of 100 crore by next year, we would be happy. If I would say that to answer your question, 3 to 5% of my sales turnover, if that business, we would be happy, because we cannot go after every segment. You know, KSB is present in every segment. So a competitor who is focused in that business may do 20-30% of their business in that marine sector. But KSB would do selectively in that segment where they feel they would be competitive and could have a reasonable amount of share. And so we would go for specific pumps which are critical and which are required and not in general purpose pumps, things like that. So our present share would be limited to those kind of products.
and on the margin front, what should be your highest margin on a product and a lowest? What is the range?
Highest margin, there is no limit.
You are always in this 13-14% margin
I never
range.
keep a cap on the highest margin. So
सर वो तो मिलेगा नहीं ना, कंपटीशन भी है ना सर.
हाँ नहीं, कई बार कंपटीशन भी नहीं होता, स्पेयर पार्ट्स में कंपटीशन नहीं होता है ना. तो it's very hypothetical, I would say. The market margin depends on what the market can offer and opportunity can offer and the customer can accept. Of course, if you talk, spare parts are the higher margins business. Gross margins are much higher, 2 times, 3 times of our normal business, whatever we do for the new pumps. And minimum margin also is a bit sometimes thing, because you make sometimes take orders which are of strategic importance, where you want to create a reference, where you want to start a business. If you are a new entrant in a particular business, you would definitely compromise on those margins because you have a long-term strategy. So and plus depends on plant loading, depends on your inventory, everything. Those are multiple factors. So, sorry, I'm not able to give you an exact answer, but it depends on case-to-case situations. But general answer to your question would be, yeah, aftermarket business has much higher margins, and our strategic business has the lower margins. And in between is our day-to-day and regular business. And this is how we say we want to have a EBITDA of 13-14%. This is how
Current capex, what we have done is enough for how long? And what is our
capex is a combination of sustenance and growth. So sustenance means old machine replacement and upgrading those machines. And the second is the growth, which we are seeing. So sustenance anyway we have to do continuously. And the growth, as you see in all these segments, whether it is product development, whether it is nuclear, so this will continue to be there for the coming years, because if we have ambitious growth targets, it has to be backed up by investment in those areas as well. So whatever you see investment of 80, 100, 120 crores annually, we intend to do that. And today, as I was mentioning to somebody, investment is not only in capacity or growth, it is today also in offices for employees, for all the young employees who are there, to create nice offices, nice atmosphere, and to create that good working place, safe, hygienic, and upscaling them is also a part of employee engagement. Because today employee engagement becomes a very big part of our strategic measures. And so investing in sitting capacity, investing in upgrading canteens or workplaces is also very important for us. And apart from that, service stations to invest there as well.
Thank you, sir.
So, hi. Here. Yes. Last year, your receivable days kind of inched up a bit, slightly different from the long-term trajectory. Have we seen any improvement? Has there been any difference in terms of trade or anything that you would highlight?
Yeah. Like we discussed last time, this is meant to due to the solar business, what we elaborated last time. But we definitely see a good movement post. I mean, this H2 actually, because this depends on the funds availability and documentation. Typically, this goes to state governments, and we are supplying to most of the state governments now in solar.
So it has not dramatically improved, but you are expecting things to improve.
Yeah, dramatically it will not, because this based on the average number of days as well as average sales, what we calculate. So it will not happen dramatically, but definitely it's a good movement what we see in the H2 now this year.
And if I can summarize, one of the reasons why your revenues are slightly on the weaker footing on the first half, broadly it's valves exports, which is happening probably to the Middle East, and probably the solar segment, which is kind of taken a backseat. These were the two main factors why your revenues are slightly on the back foot. And if the crisis improves and exports kind of pick up, then as you said, things can gradually improve from here. Is this understanding correct?
No, I think you're missing on the supply chain side. We had issues on the supply chain as well.
Okay.
So we could not get all the castings and the material what we needed to deliver for our thing. So that was also equally impactful.
And that you are saying almost 85% has been resolved.
Correct. That is much better now.
Okay.
And the supplies have started streamlined.
Sure. Thank you.
Just wanted to ask you, have the exports come back on track in the last 2 months?
No, not yet. Not yet. Activity has started. There are inquiries and projects. But the results have yet to come.
So the inventory that you were holding at the end of June is still there. Is that's still continuing to?
No, it's not to that extent. Some projects we are diluting and we are finding the ways to deliver it. Not 100%.
And on the price increase front, while you mentioned that on the standard products you have been able to take some price, and obviously on the project items, it will be fixed price completely. So there's no force measure that has been applied there. So has that situation improved now, walking into the second half?
No, it is price, the gross margin will be under the pressure to the extent of the project business, which are under fixed price. So that pressure will be there, but that we want to mitigate by having a better sales, higher sales also, and optimizing our internal cost. We are running our internal cost reduction programs on our fixed cost. So we have some mitigation measure.
But those are kind of slightly medium term.
No, it's also short term.
Okay.
It's also short term. If we had planned events, dealer events, if we had planned many other promotions, all those things. So it's short term as well to safeguard our cost and the margins what we.
So talking about cost, you also mentioned initially in the beginning that HANA allocations will happen from next year. So is that, first I wanted to ask you whether HANA implementation will put any kind of is that a risk to the operations in anywhere in terms of continuity, business continuity?
So to clarify, S4 HANA is mandatory as we upgrade from our present SAP thing. S4 HANA will bring a lot of internal efficiency, improvements in our process. Today what happens is in SAP, we have a lot of workarounds. Because the template we took during that time did not give us that flexibility or customization. So all those issues we are trying to address. It will take time. Today it is we call it lift and shift from SAP to S4 HANA. The second step will be innovation, where we improvise the process. So we would gain a lot from internal efficiency, speed, and optimizing those things. So, and yes, there will be an impact next year on S4 HANA, which will be in the OPEX. It will be coming next year. So this is definitely, we would like to share this with all of you, that whatever cost comes normally from changing over to SAP to S4HANA, the same would be also applicable to KSB India as a part of sharing these costs from the group perspective.
Can you kind of?
I'm not able to say how much that amount would be today, because this is something which will be discussed in the board and agreed based on the normal process what it is. But it would be like any other company, and plus the global, any other global company where you have global processes, and it would be that.
And will there be any change in the royalty terms with the parent going forward because of new technologies, new products coming in?
You may be aware that KSB India signed the advance price agreement, APA. So it was signed in this year. This means that all the guidelines are in place, and these APA regulations are valid for 5 years. Yeah. So unless we want to get it, we apply for a change, which we will do for the S4 HANA cost, because at present APA regulations did not have that. But apart from that, nothing will change as of today as we see it. The royalty or the license agreement is a part of our business. The proportion may go up depending on the new products which we build and make. But that is justified with the growth and the revenue we get out of those products. But as a percentage, you can't, means these are now clearly laid down in these APA regulations.
So there's no, it's built into the pricing per se, and obviously no surprises on that part.
No surprises on that part.
So there are last questions of the day. That brings us to the end of the session. Before we close, we would like to thank the management for addressing the industrial queries patiently, and thanks to all the attendees for turning out. So would you like to make closing remarks?
I thank you all for your very deep, insightful questions. I think every time I say that, because it's also good to hear your perspective and your analysis, and hope we have been able to share this very transparently and very openly, as we usually try to do that. And can assure you that company has a good outlook, and with our presence in so many segments, whether it is nuclear, whether it is solar, whether it is data center, all of their KSB is making its presence. So we are looking for a good outlook, not short term, but long term, medium term and long term also. Thank you very much.